Greetings, my friend, and welcome to the Advocacy Life podcast and blog. If you're listening to this or watching this, you're obviously listening to the Advocacy Life podcast. The Advocacy Life podcast and blog is literally just that. It's one person's view of disability awareness and disability rights in both formats. So if you want to learn about disability, if you want to study disability, if you want to educate yourself on disability, if you want to be educated on disability as a form of human existence, not as ableism, not as isolationism, but simply as a part of human existence, then this is a podcast for you. My name is Kevin Reyes, and I hope to see you soon. Further reminded me that I'm very funny and I need to have more humor in my podcast. And I should focus more on telling stories about my life and embarrassing stories. And if I laugh with myself, I can teach others with disabilities to laugh with themselves and not at themselves, to make it easier for people with disabilities to be fake liked. You'll know the difference when you're being liked for who you are and being liked because you're just a token little disability pet. So what I'm gonna do on this episode is I'm gonna give you three stories of embarrassing times that I've been embarrassed in my everyday life, and how I learned to laugh with myself. First story happened at a Boston market. It was a cold Saturday in like January or February. It was one of those days where it was like still jacket weather, but it wasn't like cold weather, so we had like a light jacket on. And we had just finished eating at Boston Market, and because I was born with a disability, I was born so premature, I spent the first month and a half of my life in an incubator. As a consequence of this, I don't have the best depth perception. Usually I notice this in curb cuts. To me, either looks flat all the way, or they either all look flat, or they all look like they have steps. There's like no between. So usually when I'm in the street, I like to have someone with me because I never really know which is the curb and which is the flat curb cut. Well, on this particular day, we had just finished eating Boston Market, like I said, and we're all full. My brother goes with his staff. We're all out together. It's myself, my staff, and my brother's staff. And they're like 10, 15, feet ahead of me. I'm moseying along, and I see yellow. So I said, oh, the yellow must be the curb cut. So I just got it down the curb cut. And guess what? Not a curb cut at all. It was a gigantic step. Turns out I just go off basically Dukes of Hazzard style and land on my side. My staff was new to the job, and my brother's staff had been with us for a few years at this point. And it was done this way on purpose, he was training the new guy. So, I should point out that this was also it was a gay pride event in Philly at the time or something. And I know I said January, and it was January, but there was a gay festival or LGBTQ festival at the same time, whatever. And my brother's staff happens to be gay. This is not a knock on him by any means. It's just key to the story. So, I'm lying there on my side. I can't really see anything because I'm on the floor. My vision is, kind of slanted. And all I can see are these brand new rainbow colored sneakers heading my way. And as I'm laying there, I just had to laugh. Not at him, not at the fact he was gay, just literally, I realized, you know what, I fell down, I'm okay. I can laugh. Was I bruised? I got an elbow bruise, good little story behind it. But when you fall down, physically, mentally, spiritually, laugh and get up. Learn and get up. Now, every time I go past that Boston Market, my dad's like, hey, that's where you fell down. It's a whole, family thing. So, laugh when you fall, because you're going to fall. Laugh when you do. Second story. This is very PG-13. I should have mentioned this in the outset. But it's a PG-13 story because life is PG-13 and sometimes R. Life is life. I can't censor every part of my life. Like I said in the previous episode, I would purposely participate in staff trainings. And on this particular day, I was training a new staff on how to use a urinal bottle. I urinate in a urinal bottle. It's not a big deal. I've done it 1,001 billion times since I was about 13 or so. It's much easier than a transfer. It's easier on their back. It's easier on me. Just pee in the urinal bottle. So I'm training this new person. I've trained, I don't even know how many at this point. Now, when you train a female for the first time, there is a way I like to do it. One, the door is open. I don't go in the stall for the first time. This was specifically in the day program facility. So essentially everybody knew each other. A habilitation day program is like a small town where all the clients and all the staff have to know each other and participate with each other. So the door is open. I'm not in the stall. I'm purposely in the middle of the bathroom. There's always people coming and going on purpose because they're people with disabilities. They don't always have the best bladder or bowel control. So I tell her, get the urinal bottle out, get your gloves out. We'll do this step by step. She's 24, 25. I'm 30. Yeah, 30. She just had a son. She was showing us all pictures earlier. He's 1 or 1.5. Very, early toddler age, all that good stuff. So I said, okay, this is no problem. So she unzips. I said, don't worry, I will not go until you feel comfortable and everything is lined up so I can just go. She looks at it and freezes. Death, panic, stare. Shock and awe. Just pale white, no blood in the face, the whole 9 yards. Now, this is where it gets PG-13. I am a male. I can honestly say that as a male, I've never consciously been erect around a caregiver. There's a professional line there. So I've learned early on, since I was 14, to control that part of my body. You don't always have a choice of who helps you in the bathroom when you need to go. So I have learned since I was 14 to control that area. So it's 10:30 in the morning. There's people on the outside of this bathroom I hear them. I know I'm not at full salute, put it that way. I know that. So I ask her, I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, I've never seen one. I know she's got a kid. So I'm like, what do you mean you've never seen one? Because you've just had a kid, so you obviously have seen one at some point. She goes, again, adult warning here. I've never seen one that was uncut. Again, this might have been rude, might have been ableist, but it was her honest reaction. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know how to feel. She was processing it. Something that I take for granted and never thought about because my parents never dealt with it because they were so busy trying to keep me alive when I was a baby that they just never dealt with that kind of thing. Anyway, so there it is out in the open. We had no choice but to laugh and have a whole conversation about this and ease the tension, because even in this very personal, intimate moment where for the first 10 seconds of this, when I saw her face and she told me what it was, I had to focus on educate first, not body first. I had to explain everything, and again, should I have had to do that? Probably not. But it was the best way for her to get to know me and me to get to know her, because we had only known each other for about 4 or 5 hours at this point. So there was still getting to know a person. My point is, use every moment to teach, learn, and overall grow. She's still one of my very best friends to this day, and we laugh about it. And it's been almost 8 years later. That I was her first in some way. So again, every moment is educational. Every moment can be uncomfortable, but even in the uncomfortable moments, you have to grow. You have to learn. My final story that I want to talk about today is feeling welcome. When I was, again, in my very, very early 20s, I was 21, 22, I was very, very, very ableist. I did not want to know about disability. I did not want to associate with anyone who had disability. Yes, I did help those with disability in my school district and in my little area of the world. But I never saw the disability spectrum. Let me explain. I went to a public high school. There was only 2 kids in wheelchairs in the entire school. Boys. Well, no, there were 3 boys, sorry. There were 3 boys in wheelchairs. One of which was automatically in special ed. And the two of us who were in limbo, as I call it, because we were not disabled enough for special ed. And we had to prove ourselves in the mainstream classroom. Anyway, so I went to this habilitation day program. I was there for a month. I was very angry. Like I said, I was very upset. Like I said in the last episode, this was a brand new company. They basically were interested in me because I could help them launch the business. I've had enough college courses at that point where I could help. My first college experience was actually in business and medical administration. So I was helping them do a whole bunch of early business clerical stuff. I was designing their new business cards because they had no braille on them. So I found this software that would imprint, braille on the owner's business cards and the whole 9 yards. So I was basically remaking their business cards. And I would purposely hide in the back of the day program facility so as not to be seen by anyone. I would go in there, I would make a single project last the entire day because I did not want to be associated with anybody that had any kind of disability. I was angry. I was just not in a good place. So they knew I had a good heart. They saw past every ounce of negativity I was spewing out of me, because there was not a single positive bone in my body at that point. I was totally negative. They had bought a speaker that made fart sounds, and they had placed it on the back of my wheelchair where I could not see it because it was behind me. And throughout the course of the day, they would give the remote of the machine that would make fart noises to different clients. So as the day goes on, I'm hearing these noises, and they're all saying I smell. I don't think I smell, because I know I don't smell. I haven't farted all day. And yeah, I'm hearing these fart noises. They're on the other end of the building, dying laughing. And I'm in the worst mood ever. I'm like, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Until they actually took a picture of it and showed it to me. Again, I had no choice but to laugh and enjoy. They welcomed me. Ableism is real because we're basically taught from the cradle. Ableism. Every person with a disability has to go through an ableist phase of their life, because you're basically taught to overcome your disability, quote unquote. That's what you're taught from day one. We're taught to be inspiring. We're taught to break the norm. I was always taught, you have to go to college, you have to go to college, you have to go to college. Otherwise, you'll never overcome your disability. But these people who had varying disabilities, some of which couldn't even speak, but they loved this little fart button, and they welcomed me with open arms. My point is, welcome those, even the ones that are not in the best space. Because you never know who needs that laugh. That session, that moment, that joyous laughter from the other side of the building, because they were dying. My fellow brothers and sisters with disabilities. Because they were just hitting the button, and all the staff were pretending. They brought in Febreze, they brought in air fresheners, they brought in the whole 9 yards to make it believe I was farting all day. Ableism is real. Only with love, kindness, and acceptance can we overcome it. That's my 3 stories for today. Maybe I said something to you. Maybe I said nothing at all to you. Either way, I want to thank you for your time. Leave your embarrassing stories in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Wow, you guys, I really had a fun time putting that episode together for you. Did you have fun listening? Did you have fun watching? Did you learn something? If you want to support the Advocacy Life podcast and blog, give me a few seconds and let me tell you how to do it. I have an exclusive newsletter for paid subscribers where you'll get all sorts of goodies, personal anecdotes, more updates on policy, more recommendations on books and movies I like. If you want to do more of me, I have written not one, but 2 books in a book series called Living Beyond Disability. They're on Amazon. Also in the show notes below. If you want to do more than that, you can support me directly through Cash App and PayPal. All in the links down below. Thank you so much for your time. Hope to see you in the next episode. God bless. See you soon.